Hi everyone, it's Nubian Sun, Ra, back with another video. And today I wanted to speak on some perspectives of a video I seen on the internet. And in this video, there was a homeless man eating. It looked like maybe it was an empanada. And there was a strange man that came beside him and asked him for one of whatever he was eating. And the homeless man gave it to him. And he did it selflessly. And you could just tell on his face that he had no problem with sharing. And the guy that had asked him for one of his empanadas, it looked like it might have been an empanada, he left some money for him on his bag. And when the homeless guy looked down to see the money, he was surprised and shocked, rather, and he cried. And it was a very heartwarming video. I didn't take any offense to the video. It was just something to give hope to, people that are invested in making the world a better place by being loving and compassionate. So I went down the comments, and when I went down the comments, I seen there were people who felt like I did, with my opinion. And then there were others that were quite upset at the fact that it was filmed, that this man was giving the homeless man money. And they were saying that he did it for clout and things like that. And I say this to say that whenever a situation occurs, there will be people that see the situation differently. Not all of us will see a situation the same. Like, there'll be a situation happening and there'll be total different perspectives than what the person who actually filmed or did the act was intending to do. And that's not to say that those people are wrong in their opinion. It's just a matter of point of view. And one thing I like to say is that most people that do not have a strong ego and pride do not have a problem with being exploited in a good way, in a way that might be helpful. And there are people that do not like being exploited, even if it is in a positive light, because of pride and ego. And I feel like some people just do not like to see certain things in their everyday life that might trigger some emotions that they might have. So although it's a personal problem, it becomes a negative reaction towards certain people, things, and acts. And I just looked at the comments, and most of the people were saying like, oh, why did he videotape it? And then there were people that were saying, well, maybe if it's videotaped and more people see it, maybe it can be an inspiration for others to be as helpful as that guy was. And then I stopped to think, like, A lot of people might look at videos like that and just wish that maybe there was someone as kind as that man to help them out. Because, in today's society, you might need, and it's hard for a person to get help. And so that jealousy might make a person react in a negative way by speaking negative things on what they're seeing because of their own personal issues. So they project onto situations as the one I explained. And then there are people who might not want to be filmed in their time of need. So they say, like, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted it to happen to me. So they project that onto a situation and would say that what that person did was wrong. It's all different kinds of perspectives on situations, circumstances, things of that nature. And I say that to also say that when there is no empathy towards people, when we have no empathy towards each other, it leaves a lot of things unsaid. It pretty much energy-wise gives people the cue that the perspective of people not caring. So there's a lot of things that's kept inside and hidden. And it doesn't really give a person a chance to be vulnerable. And we shouldn't always think that because we might feel these feelings of not wanting to be vulnerable and having a pride in a way to is where like you feel shamed if you are down and out and someone was to help. It's something that we have to move away from because those times of always being in survivor mode and being shamed for needing is over, because I just feel like the times that we're in, it's something that we really need now in today's society. We need to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to speak out and not hold those kind of secrets, because whenever important, valuable things are withheld, it's not healing anyone, it's not helping anyone. It's actually setting the next generation up for failure. And I feel like it's the same way with anything else. Like on the internet, people might not want to see certain things or hear about certain things, and we say like, oh, this shouldn't be on here. But that is something that we have to get used to seeing, because there are a lot of things that we have not seen yet that is to come that we might not want to see, or things that we do not want to experience, but we will experience them. And I always use the virus as an example because it's a occurring event, and it's a great example. Like we weren't expecting to be in a predicament where we actually would need more help from our government, and then we turn and see the lack thereof. So everyone is really going through it right now. And on television, we usually see like those in third world countries and their famine and the things that they're going through. And we usually just used to look at it and say, oh, we don't want to see it. But whenever we are in a predicament where we actually have to experience the same situations and circumstances, then we start to actually understand what it's like to be pushed under a rug or ignored because of a person's unwillingness to want to see things that make them uncomfortable. So I just feel like that scenario could go with anything. And that's what I do a lot of times. I take scenarios and fit them into different kinds of circumstances and situations, because that is how we can connect everything together and find solutions. And also, when I share like my ideas and things that I experienced and things I found as solutions, I do that to just give some help, a helping hand, some ideas. For everyone, things are different. What might work for me might not work for the next person, but I can only be myself, and I can only share my experiences, and I can only share what works for me. So I just share these things for you all to be inspired to find what works for you. And sometimes we might not be that different, so it just might, what work for me just might work for you. So it's all about trial and error at that point. And I just want to say that the chosen ones have a completely different outlook on life when it comes to pride and ego, because I feel like if you are a chosen one that has been dragged through hell and back and done been through a lot of things, you've already been trained naturally by the darker forces around you that you had to grow through. You've learned how to what they call dim your light, like fit in, try not to be as big as you really seem. And other words, people of another perspective will call it low self-esteem, thinking lower yourself. And so whenever it comes to chosen one actually being on the forefront when it comes to something that is positive, not negative, but even negativity, because you grow up in it, you've been through enough negative embarrassment to learn how to get used to it, basically. So it's the same thing with like positive positive exploitation, like how the homeless man was being filmed, and the man gave him money. The homeless man didn't mind. He didn't really it didn't really bother him because it wasn't bothering him. And that's how we think. Like if it's not bothering us, then it's not a problem. But then you have certain other individuals who have pride and ego, and even though they're being helped, like I said before, they'll still have a big pride and ego, and think of it in a negative way. And I've actually dealt with a lot of that in my life, because when I used to help people, even though I was helping, I would still get put in a negative light. Like they would call me a fool. I don't mean to laugh. I laugh out of nervousness sometimes, or just because it's amusing to me, and you'll just have to understand my sense of humor to know why. But yeah, they'll call me a fool. They'll say, "Oh, you're blind. You're naive." They'll put you in a childlike state of wording, to the point where it's like you're not anything good by helping them. And so it's really just a mindset. It's a certain way of thinking that certain individuals have. And you could say narcissist, but some people, they're not narcissists. They just have narcissistic tendencies from like habits, things that they're just used to doing and thinking, and they haven't really shaped their train of thinking into a positive way. They're still used to thinking the way that they thought in their environment, from their environment and what they were taught. And a lot of times it's not everything is always what it seemed to be. It's just depending on certain information. And also, if a person is willing to change their perspective. A lot of times when we change our perspective, we grow and learn different ways of doing things, and learn different people. And that's important, to be able to make healthy connections, because if we don't make healthy connections and learn different kinds of people and different ways of thinking, we think everyone's a threat. You don't know who your enemies is, who might try to cross you, because we're just non-trusting. So a lot of times we have to really consider our options. Everything is always a choice. But whenever we make a choice to learn, we have to not only go off of intuition and what resonate. It's just a feeling that you get, or a confirmation. It's also just doing a lot of inner work, like being able to sit yourself down and think about certain things that you've learned, or things that you feel, and just analyze it. It's a lot of thinking and feeling, and that's something that some people really have a hard time doing, because they do either one more than the other, or they just are on autopilot and just pretty much do neither, and something's driving them to do their own bidding. Whatever's driving them is doing their own bidding through that vessel. So this could go either way. And that's the same thing with the man in the video that was giving the money to the homeless man. The homeless man didn't have any pride and ego, and he was being driven by love, because he been through certain things and might just have felt like if someone else is hungry and I have two of something, I would share, And the man that was filming the video that gave the homeless man the money, he was being driven from love because he was probably just very shocked at the fact that the homeless man would have that type of character because of his situation. And most people that are homeless usually will be in survivor mode and won't share their food with not even a bird, So it's like you can't judge a book by its cover. And we always have to remember there are people that have different perspectives. And a lot of times we have to test the spirit, because you have the flesh and then you have what's driving the flesh, the spirit. You got to test it to see if it's positive or negative. And this could go either way, because there are people that have negative perceptions, and when they test, it's always something that is over the board, grimy, and disrespectful. And then you have those who are driven by a perspective of love that will test in, simple ways, because you can tell by just doing something simple if a person comes from good character or not. You don't have to do anything grimy and disrespectful. And it's the little things. I say that all the time in my videos. It's the little things. It's just take a person that's willing to think and use their intuition, instead of someone who's looking for an immediate reaction. So that's just all I want to say for this video. And I hope you all are drinking your water, meditating, saying your affirmations, and doing your affirmations, and loving yourself. And I hope to do live videos one day. I think on YouTube, I think they say you have to have a certain amount of views or likes or something like that to be able to go live. I hope to get there one day. And thank you all for watching and liking some videos and sharing videos. For those who are, I have noticed some increases, and I'm grateful. And yeah, peace and love.